you think?
That's out.
Ready. You really have to get, you've always asked, but the recording is a lot better.
This is what I want to prevent. Really, don't really have time to really read them, really read them. You show up. Mm-hmm. Yep.
For the meeting.
Yep. We're gonna have fun tonight here. Whenever you're ready. Ready? Okay, he says good to go, so I think I will let you know that we're ready. Okay. So I will start the meeting. I will welcome everybody to the September regularly monthly meeting of the Delaware Muncie Metropolitan Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. And we will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could, please stand and rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business this evening is the introduction and the confirmation of our members.
Okay, so we do have a new member to our board this evening, Mr. Richard Ivy. Mr. Ivy, if you would stand, I will read you the oath of office. So you just have to listen to this and say I do at the end. Do you agree to make planning decisions regardless of political pressures, to show leadership in enlightening both the public and local government in the ways of planning, to recognize the role of compromise in public affairs, but never to compromise the principles of honesty and integrity, to refuse to act for personal gain, to be tolerant of vested interests, but never to favor them at the expense of public well-being, to encourage a planning program which shall improve the community and its people to the result of better government for the future, to perform the duties of your office to the very best of your ability. If you agree, please respond with I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome to the board.
Yes. Guess we'll begin with roll call, please.
All right, Mr. Billington,
Here.
Ms. Brannon, Ms. Fritsch,
Present.
Mr. Ivy,
Present.
Ms. Kaiser, Ms. Knapp,
Present.
Ms. Mathewson.
Present.
Okay, so we do have 6 members present, so we do have a quorum.
So we will then take into consideration approval of the August 2025 regularly monthly meeting minutes. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the same.
I would make a motion to approve the August minutes as presented.
And I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Billington,
Yeah, yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Yes.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser, Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
All right, 6 yeses, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA August minutes.
Okay. So before we start the main portion of our meeting this evening, I would like to kind of go over some housekeeping rules. So first of all, if you have a cell phone on, if you can, please put it on vibrate or turn it off. Secondly, when your case is called, if you are the person that is applying for the request, you will go up first and give us your name and address at the podium. And then those who are in favor of the request would have an opportunity to speak as to your position. And then those who wish to speak in opposition would then go next to explain why you are opposing. And then the party requesting would have an opportunity at the end to address some of the opposition concerns. Also, there may be some of these matters where there are multiple people here wanting to present, and so we will have a time limit due to the amount of cases we have scheduled this evening. So each person would have a 3-minute period of time in which to speak. Also, on cases where there are multiple people speaking, if possible, if you could please tell us something different than what other individuals are talking about. Otherwise, it can be very repetitive, and we hear the same thing over and over again. Also, there may be people here that are speaking things that you don't like. But I just ask that everybody have common courtesy of everybody, allow everybody to have an opportunity to speak without name calling or doing anything to express your opposition to what is being said this evening. So with regard to voting on things and final approval, it will take 4 of us to be able to agree to whatever, whether it's in favor of the request or opposition to the request, in order for you to have official action. If that does not happen, then your case would automatically be continued to the next meeting. Is that all that we need to? Okay. Okay, so we will then begin our meeting. So, Kyleen, I'll have you start with that then.
BZA 29-25, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Megan Boehm, 3116 West Torquay Road, Muncie, Indiana, requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow for the division of property to separate by platting 2 existing structures on individual lots with reduced lot sizes, reduced setbacks, reduced lot frontage, reduced building square footage, reduced building width, and no off-street parking on premises located at 1238 South Burlington Drive and 1201 South Tennessee Avenue, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application.
Good evening, my name is Kathy Van Ice, and I'm from Ashton Land Surveyor here in Muncie at 325 West Washington Street, Muncie, Indiana. And I have with me Megan Baum.
Yep, I'm Megan Baum.
The owner of the property. This property does have a unique situation in the fact that we have 2 homes on one lot. and we are in the process of trying to divide them for them to be sold to individuals. As has been noted already, we are asking for multiple variances, setbacks. We have, both structures are pre-existing and they are sitting where they are today. We also have a wooden fence that we know that needs to be removed. Under my advice, I told her to hang off, but she does have the estimates and she's on the schedule to do it. I didn't want to put the survey stakes on the corners of a division that has not been approved. We will be going through the process of not just getting the variances, but proceeding to keep it so we'll be completely in compliance. I did reach out to Adam Leach on July 28th, and I have a copy of the email with me indicating that I asked him about whether we could have parking on Tennessee Avenue. And it says, as the indicated porches are in the 10-foot, are at least 10 foot away from the edge of the pavement, they may remain where they are, but they do not meet the definition of roadside hazards. They will, however, be noted as encroachment upon the plat and will not be permitted to be rebuilt when they succumb to the inevitable. Tennessee Avenue is not identified as a controlled parking roadway within city ordinance. Therefore, street parking is permitted, but not exclusive. There would appear to be sufficient parking on the parcel frontage to allow 2 vehicles. So I believe what he's telling us is we can still park on Tennessee. It just doesn't give permission that they can claim it as their own personal parking spaces if a neighbor wishes to use it. Other than that, with all of the multiple variances we are asking for, I do understand the structure, the back structure is not 24 by 24, which is part of the code. It is a 20 by, it doesn't quite meet the 20. It's 20 by 24. We do have also, as it said before, the structure itself is too close to the road right away, both of them. It's just how they are built. The age of the homes are prior to the zoning ordinances. I don't know if you have any questions for me, but I'd entertain.
Does any board member have any questions? Okay, seeing none, I guess you can have a seat then. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 29-25? Okay, seeing none. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 29-25? Don't see any opposition to the same. So then the chair would entertain a motion with regard to the request.
I'll make a motion to approve BZA 29-25 with the conditions that the proposed parking on lot 25B be installed so long as it's approved by the city engineer, and any approval from the board is done with the understanding that the plating process will be completed and recorded.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fritsch,
Yes.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yeah.
Ms. Mathewson.
I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay, so that is 5 yeses. So that is official action of the Board of Approval of BZA 29-25 with the conditions stated. Our office will prepare that certification for you, get that to you, and that will allow you to move forward with your plating process.
Okay. And once your case is called, you are free to leave.
BZA 35-25, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, Special Use. Being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by TWG Development LLC and McGuff Supply Inc., P.O. Box 911, Muncie, Indiana, requesting a multi-unit special use and variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a 98-unit residential development with decreased front setback, decreased side setbacks, and reduced parking, all for a new apartment complex on premises located at 610 East Weiser Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Knatzer, and I'm here today to respectfully request approval for a special use permit and the 4 proposed variances for a new senior affordable housing development to be located at the current McGuff roofing site at 610 East Weiser. The proposed development is a 98-unit development with seniors in mind. It's ideally located along the Cardinal Greenway and will include many great amenities like a bus stop, community gardens, on-site management, a community room, and more. However, due to the kind of funky layout of the site, we are seeking a few variances to allow us to create a well-rounded development. Those variances, as mentioned, are front yard setback, both side yard setbacks, and a reduced parking ratio. We're requesting these variances because of a few items. The front yard setback, we would have fallen into the correct 20 feet. They had to put a stairwell in order to meet code enforcement standards, so that is encroaching into that setback. On the side yards, there is one side yard that actually does still fall into the correct setback, but we're requesting both to give us a little bit of flexibility if the building needs to shift one way or another due to detention for water or anything like that. And then lastly is the reduced parking ratio. With the target population of older adults, we expect the car ownership rates to be slightly less. And then that on top of it being an affordable housing development, we do see less parking for our affordable housing developments. We understand the importance of ensuring our development adds to the character and quality of the surrounding properties. We think that this development will do a great job in revitalizing and continuing the growth that this neighborhood is seeing and could add some really great opportunities for much needed senior housing in the area. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, but that is all I have for you this evening. Thank you.
Well, I have a question. I know that this matter was before the Plan Commission, and we'll talk about that as to what that did here shortly. But I know that one of the concerns addressed at that meeting addressed security. Can you address that issue?
Absolutely. So the building itself will be secured at all entrances. The only people that are able to access the building are residents with a key fob, or if they would like to have guests over, then allowing them access to it. For security of the site will be fully lit on the surrounding area. We have lighting that attaches to the building's wall to keep it lit around the perimeter, and then also lighting throughout the parking area to ensure that everyone is able to get to and from their cars safely. Additionally, we are required, because this is part of a state funding program, we are required to have security cameras at all entrances and exits, as well as throughout all the hallways in the development. So we believe all of these measures will create a safe environment for our residents.
And then have you reached out to any of the surrounding property owners about this proposal? And if so, what's some of the feedback you're getting?
Yes, so at the Planning Commission meeting, we actually had a representative from the Cardinal Greenway come and share some positives and ask a few questions, so that was really great. And then with the car lot in front, in between the road and our property that we're trying to purchase, I have not personally spoken with the owner, but my uncle occupies the building and has very close connections there, and I've spoken to him about it.
Anybody else have any other questions?
So you mentioned the Cardinal Greenway. Do you have any future plans to continue that relationship with Cardinal Greenway
Absolutely.
as neighbors?
Absolutely. We would love to create a great relationship. With our development, we are looking at ways to connect to the Cardinal Greenway. And so continuing discussions with the Cardinal Greenway of how that would work. And then if there's any sort of like partnering activities or events that we could do, we think that would be a great opportunity.
Thank you.
I think you're free to sit down. Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of BZA 35-25?
Hello, Dan Ridenauer, Mayor of Muncie. We as a city have been looking for an opportunity to help in this particular area, especially along the Greenway. We're very excited to have some housing along the Greenway. What we like about this particular development, a couple of things in particular. One is TWG. They have some local partners living here in Delaware County. We appreciate that. They've done 2 other developments for the city, and they're doing one for the county right now. They're very reliable, very responsive, and we've just had tremendous results, which is one of the reasons we were excited. Another one of the reasons we were excited about this particular project. It sits between the Emily Kimbrough neighborhood, the Gilbert neighborhood, and the McKinley neighborhood. And McKinley has been going through, as has Gilbert, and actually all those neighborhoods have been going through a lot of construction. So there's been some major work going on Weiser to the west of where this will be, and also on Columbus Avenue. We're completely rebuilding Columbus Avenue, and we were in here about 3 years ago and got some zoning changes to adjust that neighborhood. That's where Elm Street Brewery and Seven Rock are located. So we're really excited about having another 96 to 98 people in that area who, the more people in an area, we believe the safer things are, the more activity, and there's just some great walking trails. I'm really excited for that part of it. And then lastly, I'll say that Marissa was actually incorrect. There were 2 members of the Cardinal Greenway. I've been a member of the Cardinal Greenway board. Even though I'm mayor, I'm also a member of the Cardinal Greenway board. And I personally talked with Angie. She was very excited. She loves and says she will miss her current neighbors, but she was very, very excited about the opportunity to have a new building, what that can do for the area, and it is directly adjacent to the Cardinal Greenway headquarters. So we're very excited about that as well. So my hope is that this group will vote in favor of this this ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Stephen Brand with the Delaware County Commissioner's Office. I'm one of the county commissioners in Delaware County, and I just wanted to speak in favor of this project and hope that you would find it a favorable recommendation to accept all 3 variances. TWG is a great community partner. They've been very responsive, very responsible. Everything that we've asked for, they've addressed in a timely manner, and I can't think of a better reuse for this brownfield site. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 35-25? Seeing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 35-25? Okay, seeing none, Eileen, do you want to address what took place with regard to the Plan Commission in this matter?
Sure. So during the September 4th Plan Commission meeting, Marissa was there to present the case to that board. There was a couple people that spoke. Mayor Ridenhour spoke in support. Mr. Craig Johnson appeared and asked some questions about security. Nick Kuzma, who's the current owner of the property, addressed concerns of security, stating that once the existing buildings were gone, he felt the condition of the property, including security, would improve. And then after discussion, a motion was made and seconded for a favorable recommendation for the special use with a vote of 9 yeses, 0 nos. Official action was taken, so the Plan Commission does forward a favorable recommendation to this board.
The chair would then entertain a motion as to the request of
Can I
BZA.
pose a question first?
Yes.
Do we know the distance between the safety barrier on the north side and the trail? It don't seem to be identified on the picture.
Could you repeat the
The
question?
the safety barrier that you may use on the north side of the property, between your property and the trail, what is that distance? It's set on the east and west side, but not on the north side.
Yes, so on that, we would be then, sorry, my font is really tiny, 20 feet. 20 feet from our property line. So set back 20 feet from our property line.
No, the trail property.
Sorry, just to clarify, I'm understanding from the building to the trail, that
Yeah.
distance.
That distance between your safety barrier and the trail itself.
Yep, that's
be
20 feet. Yep.
Okay. That's all I have.
You can think.
I would make a motion then to approve BZA 35-25 with the hardships stated therein.
A motion and a second. Any further discussions or questions? Okay, hearing none, then roll call, please.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser, Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yeah.
Ms. Fritsch, Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
That is 6 yeses, 0 nos, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 35-25. We will provide you with certification of that, which will let you move forward with your process of permitting for the property. Thank you. BZA 36-25, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Damon Goodman, 12701 South County Road 300 East, Muncie, Indiana, requesting a variance of use from the terms of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow the storage of work vehicles and equipment for workers to park their personal vehicles on the property while driving the work trucks, and for selling wood that was obtained off-site, all for a tree trimming business in a farm zone on premises located at 12701 South County Road 300 East, Monroe Township, Delaware County, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Miss,
Hi, I'm Miss Goodman. I'm here just to ask that we are allowed to continue parking there. We moved our trucks from a commercial property that we have on State Road 3 because all of our equipment was stolen out of the trucks, all of our chainsaws and things that we use on a daily basis. So we moved them to our home and parked them behind our house, beside next to our barn. And we're just asking that we can get, I'm not sure if it's a business/farm zoning. I'm not sure what type of zoning we need to get so that we'd be allowed to continue to do the parking and letting our employees park there while they're at work and selling our firewood.
So I do have some questions. One of your requests is for the sale of wood.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you currently selling wood out of this property?
Not currently. We have in the past, but we just do it seasonally, like in the winter. So if people need it in the winter, and like our current customers need it, they'll give us a call. We'll take a load out. We've been doing it personally because we store wood. We also use wood to burn at our home, so we just have it.
And then also with regard to your business, in addition to having equipment stored there and employees personally parking there and selling of wood, do you do any other type of business activity at
No,
this home?
It's all out in the field. We go out to properties and trim trees. We don't do anything else at our property. We just
Do you ever bring like any branches or tree debris?
we
back?
bring wood that we can split and get and use to burn in our home or used for selling firewood. We just bring good wood like walnut or hickory, stuff that we can get rid of in our fireplace or we can burn. Anything else we take to the public dump.
So have you been in contact with any of your surrounding property owners?
Yeah, we are friends with a few of our neighbors, and no one has any discrepancy that I am aware of. We actually had one of our neighbors text my husband and ask if we would be making a parking lot. I said, no, we will not be making a parking lot. I have pictures. You can't even see any of our equipment from the road at all, or either neighbor's home because of the way it sits behind our home and beside our barn. You can't even see it, so it's not like it's an eyesore to the neighbors.
Anybody else have any questions of the applicant?
Yes. Do you, I may have missed it, but do you do open burning on your personal property?
No. No, we do not do any burning. You know, it's not allowed.
Even the residual wood, it's not for sale, it's not burned on,
No.
right on your property?
No. We split it, and what we don't get rid of, we have a mulcher. We mulch it.
Any other questions? Okay, you may have a seat there, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 36-25?
Yeah, Stephen Brand again, Delaware County Commissioner in District 1. Monroe Township, where this address is located, is in my district, and I have not had any complaints. I live about 2 miles away from this, and I would speak in favor of this variance request.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 36-25? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 36-25?
My name is Lynn Cooper. I live at 12391 South County Road, 300 East. They were talking about open burning. They've been open burnings until off and on since June when the fire and police department were called. They were burning. I feel bad because I live almost a quarter mile away, and the smoke would come into our yard when we couldn't see the trees. I mean, that's how bad they were burning. And now to hear them say, oh, we don't burn, it's kind of really hard to,
You'll have an opportunity,
No.
ma'am, to
you haven't
to
been
come
burning,
back.
they haven't been burning since June. And the first time the fire department was called, they were burning during a no burn season, and it caught neighbors' backyards property on fire. And then they stopped for a while, and then they continued to do it. As far away as I live, in the summertime, I can't open windows, I can't hang laundry out, and they can speak for themselves that live closer. But they have stopped. They drive their trucks up and down the street when they were parking there very fast, and there are children that live on that road. And they're a danger, and some neighbors are afraid to speak because they have a history of not being very kind. They've been irresponsible before, and making this zoning change, I don't think would improve anything for the neighbors, and we're the least affected by it. The sawing, that was never mentioned, how they cut the wood, but those saws are loud. So we live in our houses with windows closed. And did I miss anything? I think I said everything I want to say, and now I will turn it over to.
Bill Ellis. I live a couple roads or a couple houses to the north.
Okay, so give us, if you can, give us your name and address, please.
Bill Ellis, 12501 South County Road 300 East. They bring in daily 1 to 2 semi loads of brush. Dump it. It's along the back fence line. It's a rodent hazard, or not a hazard, but a place for them to live, as well as it's on the tree line and potentially a fire hazard. They do burn. They haven't since June, I think, 22nd. The fire department has been called out, as well as the fire chief. We've had meetings with him. They've had meetings with him. In defiance, they continue to burn. And we wake up in the morning with sore throats because it gets in the house. They'll burn late at night. It's unsupervised. And it's just, we can't go outside because the backyard's full of smoke. And I do have pictures to verify it. Oh, yeah, plenty of ashes on the car too.
Right, and if you can speak a little bit more into the microphone, I don't know if there's a way to move the microphone a little bit closer to
I'm
you.
sorry. So that was pretty much all I had to say.
Okay.
If you could hear that, if you need me to repeat anything.
I don't think
I
so.
got it.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you.
Well, you have to, and have to give us your name and address again, please.
Okay, Lynn Cooper, 12391 South County Road, 300 East. My first move when all of this was happening and it was starting, I called the zoning board because we knew it was against the law for them to be burning out there. I just wanted to.
Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 36-25? Okay, I guess if the applicant, if you can come back up again, please.
As far as the open
And if
burning.
you can, ma'am,
I'm
just for the
Ashley
record, give us your name and
I'm
address
Ashley
again, please.
Goodman,
Into the
12701
microphone too.
Yes.
Ashley Goodman, 12701 South County Road, 300 East, Muncie, Indiana. As far as open burning goes, there was never any open burning going. We had a 20-foot hole that they were burning in. And they did that. And once we were contacted and found out that we were not allowed to burn, we stopped. We did not know that we weren't allowed to have a 20-foot hole since it wasn't open burning. It was in a hole. We thought that that was allowed. We spoke to the fire marshal for Cowan. He came out to our house and told us what the diameters of the hole needed to be in order for us to burn. So we were not like just open burning. We burned in the hole. Once we were informed that we couldn't do that either, we completely stopped that altogether. As far as our trucks speeding down the road, I can't control how fast my employees go, but I have children as well, and I will address that issue with them because I did not know that that was an issue at all as far as their speed goes. Is there any
Maybe
other
show them
questions I can
first.
answer?
Is there speed limits on that road?
No, there is no speed limit signs.
So when was the last time that you burned at the property?
I can't remember. It was early spring when we talked to the fire marshal and he was like, you need to go up to the health department and get a burning permit. I went up to the health department, talked to the IDEM guy. I'm not, I think his name started with a J, but he told me that we could not get that particular type of burning permit without this certain type of equipment that cost way over what we could afford to spend on that type of equipment in order to burn legally. And once I found that out, we completely halted all burning and ceased that. I guess I apologize for misanswering because when you say open burning, in my mind, that's just burning something out in the open without it being contained in any type of structure. We had it contained in a hole. And I also have, I don't know if you guys wanted to see that you can't see any of my equipment from the road.
So you are being handed 3 photographs, and that's it's been reported to us that that is part of the business and some of the tree debris. Is that on
That's my
your
property. Yes, that's my property. That is us. That's us pushing it with our loader, and clearing it out, cleaning it up. We also have a mulcher, so some of these piles are now just mulch, just chippings. So yes, that is part of my property. And then over here, you see where my trucks are parked beside my barn.
So prior to you doing business on your property, were you like doing the mulching and addressing the tree debris at a different location than your home?
Before moving to this property,
Yes.
yes, we don't always dump at our home. Like I said, we only dump wood that we can use to burn in our fireplace. That's good wood. We dump it at the city dump or shicks out off of McGalliard.
I guess, would you agree if we put certain conditions on what you can do at your property, such as not bring tree debris? Would that be something that you would be willing to do?
Well, I need certain types of wood to keep my home heated and to sell firewood. So I could agree not to bring brush, but I can't agree completely because I do need wood.
So what you bring to the house is for personal use generally? But
Generally,
you may
yes.
sell some of it?
Yes,
And do you have
I have roughly 12 acres
a
there.
cost that you may have expended dumping trees this year or year-to-date cost?
I don't have a grand total.
Do
If
you
my
pay it
husband-
yourself? I mean, do
Yeah,
you do
we
your
pay
own
it.
books?
Yeah, I don't keep the books. My grandmother keeps the books for our company. But I remember last year, I think in total it was like $15,000 in dump fees just for like 6 months worth of work. So it's saving us a little bit of money dumping the big wood that we can use for firewood at our house.
Okay, so for the record, we do have several photographs here. I believe that were handed to us by Mr. Ellis. And that's what's being referred to here.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is it the pictures of the fire that happened? Yeah,
Yes.
that's when we first moved in. I actually wasn't around when it happened. My husband and son were there. I wasn't there, but I know that it did happen.
So the main concern that I hear from the neighbors is the smoke.
Yes,
I
there's
mean,
no burning. There
so-
is none. Zero.
So that's not really a zoning stipulation necessarily.
Well,
It's
I
just
was
you're not allowed
told
to do it.
I was told that I needed zoning and permission to park my business trucks and my employees to come there, pick them up and leave their personal vehicles while they drive the work trucks.
Would you
Yeah.
be willing?
The,
I
oh,
didn't-
sorry. The ask is for business to be conducted on the property. So it's in a farming zone, so there should be no business being conducted in that. For the board, this did start with a complaint about the burning. And Building Commissioner Tom Fouch did visit the property and send them a letter that they did need, that they were in a farm zone and that they did need to cease all business activity until this process was gone through.
Which we have done.
Yeah, so it's a farm zone where business activity is not permitted to be unless it's granted a variance of use.
Any other questions or discussions as from the board?
I did hear them say that that was loud to have the saws being used.
I can
morning and
stipulate
night.
when, like, I mean, during the normal business hours, they can use it, like, because our mulcher that we use to mulch down the wood is loud, and our bobcat is loud. I didn't think that it affected any neighbors. No one had personally contacted me and let me know that. We can, limit it to certain time of day so that it's not a disturbance.
Any other questions or questions of this applicant?
I guess if we were to put a stipulation that heavy equipment can only be used from this time to this time, what would be reasonable to you as a business?
I would say like 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 7 p.m., something like that. I mean, I'm not sure what people's bedtimes are or what time people wake up, but normal operating business hours are usually like 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or something like that. Whatever. I could have them only running, or my husband only doing cleanup during those times so that we don't disturb anyone.
6 seems late to me personally,
Okay,
especially
so 5.
I would think 9 to 5 if you're okay with that.
I can be okay with that. That's fine.
Yep, go ahead.
Just to clarify, you're not asking for any business signage to be at this location, and you currently don't have any?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not asking for any, and I don't want to, display that this is a business. I just want to be able to keep my equipment there.
Approximately how much wood do you sell out of this property?
Not a lot at all. My workers will sell a load maybe once every 2 months, so not very frequently. I personally that's what I heat my home with, so any of the splitting going on is usually for us. We do split frequently because we have to heat all winter. So when I have free time, I will send, or the guys have a short day, I will send them out there and say, hey, split me a brick of wood for this winter so I can stack it in the barn. So that's where they hear the saws going, and because you have to cut it down in order to split it.
Question. So it was stated that you guys essentially moved the business operations to your personal property after you had a separate property that you were operating the business out
Well,
of, correct?
we were just parking our trucks there. Our grandparents have a warehouse on 3. It used to be the old Memorial Flower Shop on State Road 3 as you go out towards Newcastle. We were parking our trucks in their parking lot, and then the employees were picking the trucks up from there and parking there. But they were all broken into, and we essentially lost $30,000 in equipment.
Okay. Were you ever doing operations of cutting wood at that location?
No, we did.
So that's always been done at this property?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a personal question. So if this zoning is changed, does this zoning change just for them, or is it changed for the area, or?
It's not a request for a zone change.
So there.
It's a variance for the
Okay.
special use. So it would not change the zone. This would be applicable. And a lot of times in the motions that you guys make, you can say applicable to them only, would not transfer with the sale of a property, would not, transfer to another type of business. It's for this specific situation only.
Question. So in essence, you will not be conducting business on your personal property. You're just gonna use it for the safety and security of your equipment
Yes, yes.
by parking the vehicles
Yes, absolutely.
where they can be
Yes.
more secure.
Yes.
Well, they're also,
And the sale
but they're
of
also still using it and operating heavy machine equipment at the location. So I would say it's beyond that.
Well, we operate the equipment. It's farm equipment. We use the bush hog and hay fields. So I wouldn't say that the heavy equipment is just for business use. We also use it for property maintenance.
The application does state that there would be the sale of firewood.
I just wanted
On
to
the-
say
yeah.
that to cover us because we do occasionally sell firewood. I didn't want to leave that out. That way it would just be okay. We would be covered.
So you do not advertise that you sell wood there?
No. No, we tell our customers if they need wood, because we have customers that heat with wood, and then we have personal friends that heat with wood. So that's it.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, hearing none, you can have a seat there, ma'am.
Thank you.
Guess the chair would entertain them, or there are is some correspondence that has been received, and I'll let Kylie address that.
So for the record, since your packets went out to you, board members, there was 2 more emails received. They were at your setting places this evening, so you did receive those. One email received September 24th from Phil and Missy Ellis. Another email received September 25th from Seth Conley. Both were in opposition. And then we also do have, IDEM does have an Indiana code related to open burning. Businesses are not allowed to open burn. This does include vegetative debris or clean wood waste from land clearing, tree removal, tree trimming, or land clearing. Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay,
Thank you.
okay, the chair would then entertain a motion with regard to the request for BZA 36-25.
I will make a motion to approve BZA 36-25 with the conditions that this variance be granted for the applicant only, that no heavy machinery for business use is used past that, or is used outside of the hours of 9 to 5, and that no advertising be done at the site for the business.
We have a motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion from the members with regard to the motion? I think Sue did, yes, she.
Okay.
Okay, hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch, no. Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
5 yeses, 1 no, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 36-25 with the conditions listed in the motion. We will provide you with certification of that approval. Yes. BZA 37-25 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Gerald L. Morgan, Catherine Guthrie, Judith Hoyt, and Denise Dockery, P.O. Box 187, Parker City, Indiana, requesting a variance from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow the removal of 70 mature trees without replacement at a 2-to-1 ratio for a new gas station and self-storage business on premises located on the south side of McGalliard Road, across from Delaware Avenue, Muncie, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Good evening again. My name is Kathy Van Ice, and I'm from Ashton Land Surveyor at 325 West Washington here in Muncie. This is a little unique situation. I hope that you were able to see what we brought to the party here. This is an 18-acre plus parcel of land that is very heavily wooded. We did go through the process of having a arborist go out on the northern part of this property and identify trees that did classify as the trees that would be needed to be replaced, or replacement trees. The trees that are located are trees that are of the hardwood, that are the good, what we want to try to keep. However, on the south end, where we would have been able to mitigate or move them to, it's also heavily wooded. We have tried to come up with some different ideas, and the only way we can really do this is ask for this variance, because to put 2 trees in replacement where the canopy is already established and the roots are already established, we're not going to have good, viable, living replacement trees. So that's the reason we're here tonight. We have, if you will look on I assume you have the papers that we sent you, but if you look on the page 104, it's on the lower right-hand corner, you can see the aerial of how heavily wooded or how densely wooded this is from an aerial perspective. That again is another reason, or that is the reason we are here. We have intentions of developing the northwest side, which is about just over 5 acres, and the northeast side of this premises, which is around it's over 2 acres. It's 2.34 of an acre. The intention is on the northwest side to make that a storage, self-storage unit, northeast side, a gas station. The remaining part of the land to the south, we have talked about, and we are thinking to try to make it a wildlife dedicated parcel of land. We have not started a dialogue yet with like Red Tail Conservancy, because I want to see if we can pass through this step. You know, that is the next step. I don't want to start talking to them and have them all excited and then turn around and say, oh, sorry, changed our minds. So, but that is our intentions. We did turn in the site plan for it to make the qualifications for the BZA, you know, with the setbacks and all of the development. I don't know if you have any questions for me, but we tried very hard to come up with an idea of how to mitigate this and cannot seem to figure out how to put trees on it.
Does any of the board members have any questions of the applicant? Okay. Hearing none, I think you can have a seat then, ma'am. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 37-25?
Good evening again, Dan Ridenauer, Mayor of Muncie, 300 North High Street. So this particular development has been brought to me a couple of times, and they've really worked hard to try and come up with something. But I will tell you that that is an area of the city, the east and the northeast side by Whiteley and heading out east, that we're continuing to try and get development. And we are excited about what he wants to bring forward. I know it doesn't necessarily match because it's almost a forest. It doesn't match what our zoning says. But I do think when they came up with the idea, at least I felt, not a member of that board, but as a mayor, when they came up with the idea of maybe sectioning that off and donating that in the future to Red Tail for a permanent preserve, that I thought made a little bit more sense. I know it would be next to impossible to plant trees at 2-to-1 ratio where there's so many trees already planted. But I think the design they have in mind will be a beautiful facility in an area where we're attempting desperately to get development. The city is very much in favor of this. I understand the challenges you'll be faced with, but I think that what they're proposing is definitely worth a look, and we hope that you will look on it favorably for what it can do for Whiteley, for the northeast side. And when you add the mall just to the west, they're going to start their construction here shortly. I think it'll be an area that we can get some positive things going in that area. So we're looking forward to. We hope that you have a positive response to this particular development. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 37-25? Okay, seeing none. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 37-25?
Yeah, my name's Gerald C. Brown. I live at 2308 East McGalliard, which is right across from the property that the mayor's talking about. That forest has been there since 1959 when I was a 6-year-old. My main concern is you tear that down. Where's all the wildlife going? I've been feeding wild birds since I moved in that property in 1993. I seen a bald eagle in August that happened to be perching in that woods. Now, I would hope that if you're chopping down these trees, you have somebody make sure that there is not an eagle roosted in there, because then you are breaking a federal violation of tearing down protected forest that is being basically nesting grounds for an eagle. My other concern, he's talking about the gas station. There are 7 gas stations on McGalliard, okay? Another one on Morrison, there's 8. I really don't feel like I need a gas station across the road from my house. Like I say, my driveway is the first drive past Bel Air Street. You put a gas station in there, you're going to have a lot of problems with traffic. I've lived here, like I say, since 93. If I had $1 for every time people blew their horn at me because I put my turn signal on when I get to the John Deere Reynolds place, because my driveway's, like I say, the first drive past, people do not do the speed limit on McGalliard. Once I hit Broadway, once I hit the bypass, people think it's 45 and 50 miles an hour. I'm out there weed eating. I can't count how many times people do not move over. They go flying by me. And if you people are going to approve this, then you better put a stoplight out there somewhere, whether it's on Elgin, whether it's on Bel Air, because there's going to be a lot of traffic fatalities out there because they do not abide by the speed limit once they hit Broadway and McGalliard or the bypass. And I could probably talk for another 15 minutes, but you said a 3-minute limit. But yes, I'm very opposed to anything being over there. I don't think anybody would love seeing a bright gas station right across from their driveway. I was very thrilled though on the 18th when I seen that eagle, and it actually flew and roosted right in front of my driveway. It stood there, it perched for a good minute and a half, and then it flew the length of my property, which I have an acre, and it flew right across from the assisted living It's the Cedar Creek facility, sat in a tree there for a while and then flew off.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 37-25? Okay. Seeing none. I think there is, I'm not sure if there's any question. Go ahead. Go ahead, yes.
So just to clarify for the board, the development of the gas station and the storage facility is a proposed use from a potential buyer. This is not the current owners that are doing this development. This is from a potential buyer. And then our office did receive the information about the bald eagle, not our area of expertise, but we did look that up. There is a Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services would require a special permit for any activity that disturbs or removes an eagle's nest, regardless of whether it's actively being used. So that would need to go through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Kathy, if you would want to come and address any of the comments that have been made, and again, if you can tell us your name and address again, please.
My name is Kathy Van Ice, and I'm from Ashton Land Surveyor at 325 West Washington Street in Muncie, Indiana. We ran up against something very different, similar but different, in a situation on a property on a corridor here in Muncie. There was they had us prove whether or not a snake and a bird, a specific one, and I'm gonna call one a snipe because I can't, it was something that started with an S, and I know it's not snipes. We're not going snipe hunting, but my mind can't remember what it was called. But we called in a specialist, a botanist, who did a report, and I think that's what you're asking of us to be able to. I'm going to ask the potential buyer before I make a commitment, because that is we reach out to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. That's what we've done before. They have a list of people who qualify. That person sends the botanist to site. They make the determination as to whether there is an actual bald eagle nest, and we move forward with that letter. Okay, I've done it before, but it's not for a bald eagle. It was for a snake and a bird. Obviously, I did not retain what they were because I don't. That's not my specialty. Those are things that we can do. I do want to repeat that this is in a BV or variety business zone already.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that it is a situation with the woods, but and the south 10 acres is going to be set aside as a wildlife refuge. So that's the south.
Sir. Yeah. Sir. Yes. Okay. You're fine.
Yeah, you're good. But I'm just making sure you know that the majority of it is there in the wildlife. Okay, because I'm talking only 8 acres. But other than that, I think that's where you're to respond.
Sure. Okay. And sir, you only have one opportunity to speak, and you have had your opportunity, sir. Yes.
Okay, well, then I should have spoken a lot longer. Because I told you I could talk for about 15 minutes.
Sure. I guess the chair would entertain a motion with regard to this request then.
I will make a motion to approve BZA 37-25 with the hardships stated therein, and then knowing that any development, if there is any question of wildlife, that proper procedure would be followed as applicable by federal law.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
You're wrong about that.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch? No.
You would really appreciate it.
Mr. Ivy?
Hey,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
gas station right across from your drive.
Ms. Mathewson?
Yes.
5 yeses, 1 no. So that is official action of the Board of Approval of BZA 37-25 with the conditions listed in the motion. We will provide you with that certification.
Yes, I guess we will take a few minutes break. Yes, yes.
Oh, my. We're doing like 3.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we can move.
What's that? So I try not to make it too personal. Like, I'd rather not.
Not this one, but one.
I just try not to bring it real here, Mayor.
On the 17th.
Well, I have to leave, so. Need to be here.
There's quite a few over on the other side as well. Yeah, if you can find one here, okay?
How long do you think we're going to be here tonight? 10?
Sure. Yeah, so. Michigan is also due to state flags.
First night on the board, and we gotta. The one that we had the other night that went like, here for 4 hours.
Yeah,
That's the longest one I've ever had. This one.
so I was here for that. That was a one.
That was.
They all be right side and
I really should have asked.
At least one of my references brought that up.
I told him as soon as I was like, I should have grabbed this, but I was like,
You're like trying to get in and get out.
because I wanted to review everything again, which is still feel like.
Actually, before I came to my titles, I have that back and my wife's like, better.
You had a loving wife to take care of you. Literally. I'm just gonna like start. I'm just gonna like bring art in weird little places like a squirrel with lots of nuts.
I didn't tell me I was being there half the day. So where'd y'all order dinner from?
Thank you.
He was looking for the lady. She went to rest. He was looking for her. I think. Yeah, he was looking for her.
Okay, so we will resume our meeting here.
Nice.
So we'll move on to the next matter.
Okay, BZA 38-25. Jurisdiction, Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Ronald E. Scott, Donald G. Scott, and Ron M. Jones, 1051 West County Road, 500 South, Muncie, Indiana, requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a reduced side setback and to allow the existing residential garage to be on a parcel without a dwelling, all for division of the house from the accessory structure through platting on premises located at 3007 and 3009 East Jackson Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application.
Good evening. My name is Kathy, and I'm from Kathy Van Ice, and I'm from Ashton Land Surveyor at 325 West Washington Street, Muncie, Indiana. We are here tonight because we have a situation or a piece of land that we're wishing to divide. We will be doing it through a platting process. The house on the west side does have access to State Road 32 on its own on a driveway that is shared. The reason we're here tonight, though, is because once we divide off the house, the garage will be on its own, sitting on its own premises. This is variety business zoning. The usage of the garage currently is going to be used by people who will be using it for their own private mechanical shop. Their own private. It's not going to be a commercial site at this time. However, we are trying to make sure we keep it in compliance with the parking and also the best we could with the setbacks, but we can't reach, if we try to do this, we don't reach corridor standards with build two lines, nor do we have room for any kind of line of sight blockage. The house itself does sit rather close to the division of the line, and I do know we are asking for a reduced setback between the house and the current garage. Don't know if you have any further questions, but with me tonight.
My name's Ron Jones, 1051 West County Road, 500 South, Muncie, Indiana.
One of the owners.
And I just want to verify, and I think Kathy has stated that this is for the garage usage is just for personal usage. It's not something that you would be operating a business out of.
Jim Riegelman was the gentleman who had it before, passed away. We purchased it. It's my brother-in-law and his brother, and we just kind of play out of it, little hot rods, and no signage. There's nothing. It's just us three and couple cars, each one of us own the hot rods, so we just kind of hang out. And I own the property of the house, they don't, but trying to separate that so we can probably, resell it, just get rid of. It's a rental right now.
Anybody else have any questions of the applicant? Okay, hearing none, you may have a seat then, please.
Thank you.
Anybody wishing to speak in favor of BZA 38-25?
Yes, Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner in District 1, Monroe Township, and this address is in my district. I've also not heard any complaints about this, and I would advocate for Mr. Jones. He ran a very responsible business in this county for a lot of years and is very trustworthy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 38-25? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 38-25? Okay, seeing none, then the chair would entertain a motion with regard to the request of BZA 38-25.
I'd make a motion to approve BZA 38-25 with the condition that the garage be used for personal use only.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, was that second Sue or Christie?
Sue, yes.
Okay.
And would you repeat what you said?
Yeah, approval of 38-25 with the condition that the garage be used for personal use only, as the applicant
Thank you.
stated. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Yes.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Matthewson.
Yes.
That is 6 yeses. So that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 38-25. Our office will provide you certification outlining that approval so you can proceed with your plating process. BZA 39-25, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Slay and Corey Milholland and The Landing at Red Wing, LLC, 5757 East Enlow Springs Road, Muncie, Indiana, requesting a variance of use from the terms of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow an event venue for weddings and other events and for a 4-foot-tall ground sign advertising the business in a farm zone on premises located at 5757 East Enlow Springs Road, Liberty Township, Delaware County, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Hello, my name is Corey Milholland, Slade Milholland, The Landing at Red Wing, 5757 East Enlow Springs Road, Muncie 47302. We are asking for a variance for that property to continue the use, to continue to use that property for weddings, concerts, reunions, festivals, gatherings, corporate events, community events, birthday parties, school field trips, Boy Scout retreats, eco education classes, and graduation open houses. That property is a beautiful property. We bought that property in 22. It was our goal to keep that property as pristine as possible, and that's what we've tried to do. We've put countless amount of hours into keeping that property beautiful. We've put thousands of dollars in upkeep of that property. We have maintained that property as best as we can. We have community events, free community events to bring people back into nature. We do have weddings, and we just want to remain and continue to do that. So we are asking for permission to be able to continue to do that.
Slade Milholland, 5757 East Enlow Springs, Muncie, Indiana. The reason for the miscommunication on why we haven't been here to apply for this until now, we have been zoned as far as our taxes as commercial. We've been zoned as far as the health department as being commercial. So we didn't know we were acting out of place. So we thought with it being the old Boy Scout campground that it would be our best interest to find out what to do in this situation. And we've been in contact many years trying to figure out and resolve what we need to do to make this happen. And we've since then became compliant in everything that we know of other than the septic system. Excuse me. Other than the septic system was scheduled to be done this week. Beyond that, with the weather that we had, he is supposed to start tomorrow. So
we have had the fire inspector out, and I do have that report. I can submit that. They've cleared everything on the property. I know that I did submit some signatures in support of us, but I do have some additional signatures, about 500 of them right here, and I do have 16 pages of comments that are in support of us, so I'll submit those as well. I have spoke to some of our neighbors that are on our side of the river that we actually have sent letters to, and they are in support of us. I did not reach out to anyone on the opposite side of the river. I did not know that I needed to do that. I know that we are getting some feedback, but we are trying to come up with a solution, or we would love to come up with a solution to try to make everyone happy. Last year at our 4th of July event, we did have around 3,500 people on the property. This year we did have around 4,700 to 5,000 adults on the property, and we had no issues. So we are having that many people on the property without having any issues. It took us about half an hour, 45 minutes to get everybody off of the property after the fireworks. So I just want to make it very clear that this year we have only had 2 days of live music. The 4th of July event and one other, which was a private event. We've only had 2 live music events. The rest of the events have been private events. So I don't know where the miscommunication is coming from or what the issues are, but if you guys have any questions, I'm willing to answer any questions that you guys have.
Do you have adequate parking for that many people?
We do. We actually have a 28-acre field that we park everyone in. And then this year we actually did run out of space in that parking, but we also have another field in front of the property that our neighbors have allowed us to park individuals in.
the total acreage is 63 acres.
Yeah, we own 63 acres there on that property.
You guys said you purchased the property in 2022, and could you just confirm to me when the business use started on the property after purchase?
We started work in 23, making updates and putting in the wedding stage and stuff in 23. We had our first wedding in we had our 2 weddings in 24. And we have 7 weddings on the schedule for this year.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Do you have adequate restroom facilities for that many people?
For that many people, we actually contacted a septic system company that hires out the porta johns, and we told them what we did the years previous, like the first year and then the second year, and what our projected was, and they supplied us with the correct. They have an algorithm, and they supplied us with the correct porta johns in different locations where it's spread out and a lot of people to.
Okay.
Yeah. I know there's a question of security from what I've read and heard, but every event that we've had, we've actually hired individual policemen from the county that are for hire, and they come out, and we've had them in uniform and undercover to make sure that everything goes smoothly during our events.
And we do pay for that out of pocket. Everything for the 4th of July event is paid out of pocket. We do have a few sponsors that have sponsored the last few years and helped offset that, but everything that we do for the 4th of July event is out of pocket to try to get people to come to the landing. A lot of people didn't even know that Camp Red Wing, the Boy Scout camp, was there. So that's the main reason why we have that event, is to get the people to know that the landing is there so they want to come back and spend their money in Delaware County and use our space, that beautiful space in Muncie, instead of going elsewhere to rent a room, rent a banquet hall, a shelter house, a picnic shelter house, and use that space. So you can see we had to submit a proposed business plan to you guys, and I know, well, I'm assuming you guys did look at our business plan that we submitted. So in that business plan, we did have to submit a proposed what we thought we would do in the future. So we did say, 5 annual signature events. That's the Independence Day celebration. We were trying to plan a community like barbecue. Somebody reached out and wanted to plan a community barbecue. So we were trying to plan that until this came up. So we are working with other people in the community to try to plan community events and community days. If you read the comments or read any of the comments, we do know that the landing is a safe place, and a lot of people feel like it's a safe place where they can bring their kids and they can run out and be free and be in the wilderness and not be on their technology. So that's what we want to do. Our kids, we actually made them have a no technology summer. They didn't like it, but in the beginning, but at the end, they loved it. They said thank you. They actually said thank you. So that's what we were trying to do. We have 1 or 2 music festivals. I know that there's a little bit of misunderstanding with the term. We said Deer Creek. I think that's being misunderstood, because we did say that we wanted it to be a little bit of Muncie's Deer Creek. That just meant like an outdoor music space for Delaware County. We do wish to eventually be able to bring a few big named bands, but again, we're the ones funding that. We're the ones working that, finding volunteers to work that. That's a lot of work. It takes me about a month to recuperate after doing the Independence Day celebration. A lot of work and planning and preparing goes into those types of events. So if that happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. We have to make money up from that property, or we need to try to make money from that property somehow. I don't know. I don't think I have anything else that I can think of.
Thank you.
Sorry. Do you guys have any other questions?
I don't, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And a lot of you were not here at the beginning of this meeting, so I will say that due to the large number of people here and the fact that it's 7:30 and we have multiple things on the agenda after this case, we are having a 3-minute time frame for those wishing to speak in favor of and in opposition to things. Also, we would request also to kind of help speed things along to not have repeating comments. So if somebody has said something that you would be addressing, we would just ask that you not go in and repeat the same thing. That's multiple comments on the same comment is not going to change our opinion. So you may have a seat there, folks. We will have you come and address any concerns that are addressed later. So this is an opportunity for anybody wishing to speak in favor of BZA 39-25. What you'll do is you'll come up to the podium and give us your name and address.
I'm Jack Tighe. I live at 5001 East Enlow Springs Road, Muncie. I've been out there for almost 50 years. I've been I own property right next to them, and they've been great neighbors. very helpful even when I had a little bit of an issue. And there's been more noise and stuff coming from the AMA that was supposed to do a lot of stuff that they volunteered to do. When they posted that up, they never done nothing. No one done nothing about that. And I get a lot more noise from that than I do from them at any time. And they've been just absolutely great neighbors. And I look forward to seeing them out there and staying there. And thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Clint Whitaker, 301 East 29th Street, Muncie, Indiana. My first year going out there was Independence Day, last year. My kids love it. It's a safe environment. They always look after our kids. They have over and beyond friends that help. You know, I never seen a family come into our community and do what they're doing, pulling stuff out of their pocket to make sure our community's doing good. That's, if I ain't mistaken, I think they're coming from another county to move to our county, if I'm correct. And I never seen, the whole time I've been here in Muncie, a family doing this and pulling from their own pocket to make sure our community and our county's doing something positive and influencing our surroundings and stuff. So that's all I got. Thank you.
I'm Heather Collins, 805 West Centennial Avenue. I help do the marketing and promotion for the Landing at Red Wing. I started there because I play in a local band, recently nominated for a Mayor's Arts Award, and I was performing at one of their events last year, and a little kid ran up with a blue crawfish, and I was like, this needs to happen more in our society. So I've helped a lot. Some tourism stats, because we partnered with Delaware. Destination Muncie is that the second annual Independence Day celebration attracted visitors from 7 states, 30 counties, and 7 cities, all 7 cities in Delaware County. So they're wonderful to work with. It gives me a job here in Muncie, and I just think it's great. I think there's been misinformation about the Deer Creek. That was just in regard to the natural amphitheater, not the frequency or the level of Live Nation.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 39-25? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 39-25.
Thank you. Drew Hall from McKinney and Company, 201 North High Street. They've kind of already mentioned some stuff, so for expediency's sake, I won't go over that. They are operating a commercial business out of the farm zone. When they bought the property, they had assistance of counsel. They knew what they were getting, and they've operated it as a business for 2 years now they partnered with Destination Muncie to invite people to their farm zone, 4,700 people. The neighbors have an issue with that. What they're specifically requesting is a hardship variance. And so kind of my role, I've been hired by a number of the residents who live in that area to kind of look into this. So just for the board's sake, I know you have your own attorney, Alan, I'm not trying to step on your shoes, but for the sake of a hardship variance, I think it's worth the board noting that the determination of a hardship variance is a question of fact, and there are certain factors that have to be met. One of them is specifically that, and this is according to Nelson v. Board of Zoning Appeals, that the property cannot reasonably be put to a conforming use due to limitations imposed by the zoning ordinance, and it must be shown that the land cannot yield a reasonable return if used only for the allowed zoning purposes, and that the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. Furthermore, the hardship must arise from conditions peculiar to the property involved, not from general conditions in the neighborhood or self-created circumstances. Financial or economic considerations alone, such as potential loss or gain, cannot constitute an unnecessary hardship. Again, that's that's I-465 versus Metro Board of Zoning Appeals. Also, all relevant factors must be considered to determine whether or not hardship exists. One of those additional factors that needs to be considered is that the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, general welfare, that the use and value of adjacent properties will not be substantially adversely affected, and that the variance will not interfere with the comprehensive plan of the area. So to go into that, if you guys want to take a look at this, I'm sure you're familiar with it. That is an excerpt from the Together DM plan, the comprehensive plan for Delaware, Muncie, the long-term planning document that the local government organizations and various boards are supposed to be working together to facilitate. Specifically, page 47 talks about future intended land use. The future intended land use for that area is as agricultural. It is to ensure that land use regulations protect the county's agriculture and natural resources, to coordinate with incorporated city and towns to direct future growth into their jurisdictional boundaries. This request goes against current zoning. It goes against the intended future use of the property. Furthermore, again, case law shows that a hardship cannot be a self-created hardship. They purchased the property, it had the zoning, they had the advice and assistance of counsel when they bought it, they knew what they were getting, and they went ahead and operated a business anyway. There have been numerous complaints by the neighbors. Some of the issues include people trespassing off of their property onto neighbors' property, the fact that they've been parking 4,700 people worth of cars in a field that's not supposed to be parking. The property only has a septic tank. They don't have any of the infrastructure needed to support that. The problem is once you grant this variance and you let them use it as a quote event venue, then what happens in the future? There's not going to be really any way to claw that back. And then it could turn into the next Deer Creek, or they could, once they get the approval from you guys, they could sell it to the next person, an out-of-state investor, somebody else who's going to squeeze every bit of money they can out of it and then ruin the community and dump the property back. So that's what the neighbors are trying to avoid. Again, there's also ecological and environmental concerns. This is a letter you guys can take a look at. This is from the Weirling Wildlife Rehabilitation Education Center. Talks about the impact that noise pollution and light pollution has on that surrounding ecosystem and the animals there. And lastly, I know that there are a number of people here that probably have their own things that they want to say, but we have had a petition opposing this variance signed by over 100 people. We actually have a map here if you'd like to look at it. This is the area. Every one of those red dots represents a homeowner who signed this petition against the variance. And I believe a number of them are in attendance today. If you're one of those people who signed the petition, you can stand up or raise your hand. These are all people here who I'm kind of speaking on behalf of. And that's all. Thank you.
Poster board down. I think you can just pass the paper around. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Yeah, my name is Cindy Pretty. First of all, thank you for this process that we can speak and voice our concerns. I live at 5742 South Burlington. So my property goes right to the river, and then the landing at Red Wing is right there. So we're literally right across from each other. So what I want to say tonight, I do want to repeat what Drew said about, I'm not so concerned what has happened in the past. There's some things that bother me. There are definitely things in the business plan that bother me, but here's where I really get stuck is, as Drew said, once it becomes commercial. I don't know what the future holds for anybody who owns a property, but when it's zoned commercial and it changes hands, can you imagine if a Walmart went in there or a manufacturing facility? Now, I'm not saying you guys would do that, right? Can you imagine it though? What this property, I'm just trying not to get emotional. I grew up there. I live there now. I work there from home, so I'm there 24/7. And I plan to retire there, and I plan to sell. Who will buy a property across the river from a commercial that's been zoned commercial? I think what are these guys doing? It sounds like a good thing. It's inviting the community. That seems noble. I'm more concerned about the long-term consequences and my own property value, quite honestly, as well as eco and all that. Thank you.
We're just gonna make it clear.
Yeah, just thank you.
We're gonna Eileen is going to make a clarifying statement. There has been some information that has been presented that is incorrect, so we will clarify what the request is and what the impact of it
Okay.
would be.
So just to clarify for the board, the request is for a variance of use. It is not to rezone the property. The property would stay as a farm zone. The Milhollins would be, if approved, the Milhollins would be allowed to use the property for the special use that they applied for, would not transfer to any new owner. Usually, you guys clarify for this applicant and this applicant only, which would not transfer to any future owner of the land. So it would not be rezoned specifically for this specific ask. Sorry.
Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 39-25?
Good evening. I'm Harold Clydens. My residence at 5729 South Burlington. My wife and I have lived there for 50 years across from the historic Reese Cemetery, which you may be familiar with in that area, one of the oldest pioneer cemeteries in Delaware County. I'm president of that board of directors who controls and also maintains and restores that cemetery through a trust created by Jack Reese many years ago. My first experience with the landing owners and operators occurred a couple of years ago. Late one evening, after about 8 hours of loud music blaring across the property behind the cemetery, through the cemetery, into our front yard, through our house, to the patio behind it, and the woods behind my house that we also own. My wife and I got ready to go to bed around 9:30 or 10, and I said, we've got to find out where this racket is coming from. We got in the car, drove around. I nearly knew it was coming from somewhere on Inlow Springs Road. We drove back through the long driveway of the landing, got to the furthest point of that property, which is right on the very edge of White River. Keep in mind that right across the river is a property owned by the Mays. Behind that is the cemetery, and across the street is my property. I drove up to the venue. There were several people at the edge of the river at a high point. They were standing around, microphones, musicians, huge amps. This is blasting unbelievably. I mean, in an area that we purchased 50 years ago for peace and quiet and sanctity away from the noise of Muncie. I confronted the owner and asked him, would you turn the music down? It's just entirely too loud. We cannot even sleep for this. Keep in mind, my wife, who is terminally ill, now on to go on hospice this week, couldn't even sleep. Fireworks, loud music booming all through that area. Now, it may not bother anyone on Inlow Springs, but that makes sense. Their houses are far away from that river. So interestingly, the owner said, well, you better just get used to it. That's the kind of neighborly concern I got with my first encounter with these people who are owning a commercial property in a primarily residential and farm area.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We have to have you.
Hi, my name is Chris Pretty. I live at 5742 South Burlington Drive. When she's showing you the map, if you will notice, everything in yellow and everything in green is zoned R1 or R2. These are completely residential properties. We are not in the city limits. We're not even on sewer. So when you have a commercial variance, so to speak, coming through there, disturbing wildlife, migration patterns, there are bald eagles back there, there are beaver back there, there are mink back there, if you can believe that. We've seen these. There are all kinds of wild animals, and this must be incredibly disruptive to them, and changing their migration patterns and the frequency with which we see these animals. And we moved there for peace and quiet, as someone else said, sorry to repeat. And the noise is just, at times, very atrocious. We had to call the sheriff one time to send them out there to reduce the noise level, because it was, in another event, I had to leave my home because I didn't want to offend the Milhollans and call the sheriff again. So I was trying to be a good neighbor, but it hasn't been working out the way I had anticipated. So I hope that the board will take these residents into consideration, because it is primarily residential and it's outside of the city limits. And when you're talking about a volume number of people traveling on Inlow Springs Road, which is already a traffic hazard, there have been numerous accidents over there. 4,000 people coming and going from a concert, and it's my understanding that a liquor license will be applied for. So you throw drinking in the mix. I think it's a bad venue for them to put their event center. So I hope the residents will be kept in mind by the board when they make their final decision. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Chris Gillum, 5712 Burlington Drive. Our property backs up to the river on the north side of Burlington Drive. 20 feet across the river, 30 feet, whatever it is their property. We noticed this 2 years ago. It was worse than this year. Excuse me. It's too loud, okay? We bought this house. We've been there 20 years now. It's a beautiful property we have. We bought it because it's nice, quiet, and in the country, as did many of my neighbors. Many of those red dots on there, that's why they signed. They didn't move out there so they could be bothered on the weekends by loud music and fireworks going off. I mean, it's like everyone else said, it's noisy. That's not why we bought the property. And I don't see why someone has the right to come in and start that business. First of all, they didn't follow through from the very beginning. They knew this, they needed this variance, and they waited, what, 3 years to do it? Come on. That's about all I have to say. I don't agree with it. I agree with the idea, okay? I agree with the idea of having a place like that, but not there. When the Boy Scouts were there, they were there in 1925. The Boy Scouts started their Boy Scout camp out there. And occasionally during the summer, they'd have jamborees over there. And you'd hear these young guys laughing and screaming and making all kind of noise. But it wasn't like having a rock band playing in your ears, you know. It was enjoyable, actually, because I was a Boy Scout and I was also a Cub Scout, and I know what fun they were having over there, and that was great. But that place wasn't built like in 1925. Very few of these homes were even in that area. That was rural Delaware County when that place was built, and I think it should remain that way. I applaud them for what they're trying to do, but it's the wrong place to do it, and they're going about it all wrong. Thank you.
My name's Rick Birchville, and it's 409 High Street, Anderson. I own the property directly across from their entrance. I bought the property, I think it was in 21, with the intent, the wife and I, she was going to sell the house. She had the house before we got married, but she was going to sell the house there in Anderson. That we was going up that property because it was peaceful and quiet, just like you just said. There was a lot of traffic on Enslow. I mean, I couldn't believe how much traffic going back and forth from the reservoir. So I never heard anything about, I knew the people that bought the Boy Scout camp because I grew up next to a Boy Scout camp when I was younger down in southern Indiana. So I know what it's like living right next to one and actually going down and helping out. So I knew that was there. I knew it was being sold. I knew these people bought it, but I never heard anything about what they was going to do. I got a letter last week from you all stating you's having this meeting and voice your concerns. All right. Was there permits in the very beginning that they had to build all this new stuff that's back there now? No, they went in there and did it. And the guy that bought it, he knows what permits are. He's in that business. So he knows what permits are. I'm in that kind of business. I know what permits are. It's just part of it. So why wait until now to get a permit? To do what you've already built. You've already got this other stuff going on. And yes, even online on their website, they talk about getting a beer garden. I had a brother, he was an alcoholic, and he died. Okay? I sure don't want to move up that property and build a house when we get ready to retire and hear all that stuff across the road. I mean, directly across from their entrance is where our property is. And here I got to sit and listen to 3,000 to 4,000 people on different issues, different venues. I'm not interested in that. Just like these others said, I wanted something peaceful. I'm into the gliders. I fly gliders. And yeah, occasionally when we was up there flying gliders, they would be a bald eagle up there flying. He would fly with us. Why? I don't know. But he's got a nest down in Chesterfield. There's one down below Anderson. There's one up here. So why do we want to get rid of that kind of stuff? Because they will not stick around if there's a whole lot of activity. Why do we have to listen to all this stuff? Yeah, it's a good idea. We need to give our kids something to do, places to go to, but we don't need anything like down the road at the big concert center. I know you might not make it just like that, but when you got that stuff going on, it follows the crowd. And it's what comes with the crowd.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Gene Ferris. I live on County Road 400 East, so I'm probably a mile as the crow flies from this venue, and probably not affected by the noise like other people would be. Is it appropriate to ask the board for a little bit of clarification here? For instance, can you limit the variance? For instance, the history of what's been going on the property is slightly less than what they predict it may be in a couple of years. Can you limit it? Can you limit activities to a certain number of people or anything?
The board can put conditions on usage, yes.
Okay, thank you. Some of the other cases you've heard tonight, I'm not an expert on zoning or anything, but I kind of divided variances between addressing land use and addressing details like setbacks and things like that, which is a good portion of what you dealt with tonight. But this specifically deals with land use. And I've lived out there for 45 years, and I know a lot of people, well, they just take a look at a property and they say, oh, I want to buy it, it's nice and peaceful and quiet. Other people will actually look at the Constitution, so to speak, which is the zoning ordinance. And the zoning ordinance says that that's farming and agriculture. And then your role, I guess, is to offer up amendments to that Constitution. And I just would encourage the board to be very careful in amending something that's such a substantial land use in an area, because that's going to change things out there one way or another. Whether you're in favor of it or not, it will change things. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak?
Hi, and thank you for this opportunity. It's nice to see everybody voicing their concerns and coming together as a community.
My name is Terry Tepfer, and I live on East Inlow Springs Road. We moved here about 3 years ago. My husband retired 30 years from the Army, and this is our dream home. We love the nature, the wildlife, the history and the heritage of the area, the farmland, and that's why we wanted to live here. I just got wind of this about 2 days ago, and I'm glad that I could be here, and a lot of my concerns were voiced already. Mainly the ecosystem, really important. Most of us are on wells, so the water is very important. The river, pollution, trash, alcohol. A big concern for me is the road, especially during the warmer months where probably most of these venues will take place. Right now, the traffic is really bad. Speeding up to 90 miles an hour, passing, I just cringe when they pass each other, and there's never been a electronic speed detector for the 3 years we've been here. And I just wonder if the city has, or the county has, an idea of that's going on. They go out to the reservoir, there's drinking. I've seen beer cans in my yard. When they have venues at this particular place, at the landing, they tend to turn into our driveway, and we have a loop, a winding driveway where they pull in and they get lost and disoriented because it's dark. And we're like, who is this? So that might increase too, especially with more alcohol. And I don't know, I've seen if there's more alcohol, there's more problems usually, especially during concerts. So, we got used to the 4th of July. That's so cool. We're very patriotic. My husband has a little PTSD from active duty, but we expect it. We prepare for it. But some of the concerts, they light them off anyway, without warning. And that's kind of an issue. And they've gotten louder for the past 3 years since we've been here. So I just ask that we kind of look at the whole picture. That's not what a lot of us signed up for. We don't have control. Once something gets started, we don't have a say in it. If there's a concert going on, and I'm a musician, I love concerts and music, but we don't have any control. Once it starts, anything can happen. So, thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Seeing none, Kylene will address some of the additional information that has been presented to the board.
So since packets went out, we've received the items, obviously you received this evening, but you also received 4 emails in support and 1 additional email in opposition. So those were at your places this evening. Also, just to report that Building Commissioner Tom Fouch has been working with the Milhollins to go through this process. They have met with our staff several times, have completed and proceeded with everything that we've asked them to do. They are currently working with the local Delaware County Health Department as well as the state health department. There were some traffic concerns voiced this evening. There's nothing official that's been done, but I do know that Kayla Ferguson from our office has reached out to the Delaware County Highway Department. I will let her inform you guys of what she has found out.
So I spoke with Heather Beard from the Highway Department earlier this week, and she stated that she did not see any potential hazards or problems with the increased traffic on Inlow Springs Road.
There was also some comments about the use. Just want to kind of clarify for the board. Fred, Daniel, you can chime in here if you want to as well. But when the Boy Scouts were using the property as camping,
They were operating legally non-conforming. That camping was going on before the ordinance was passed. That's why there was no change of zone or variances provided to them. So then the confusion kind of came in when the Milhollins bought the property as a campground. They assumed that these events were permitted. Tom Fouch, building commissioner, then notified them of the issues that they did need the variance, and that's when they started this process.
So we'll now have the Milhollins, if you can, please come up. This
Oh, Fred, would you like to add to that?
Yeah.
I would just like to remind the board that a Boy Scout camp is a different use than a wedding venue, and this is not about a Boy Scout camp continuing. This is about a wedding venue and concerts, which is the reason for the request tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Fred.
And if you can give us your name and address again, please.
Corey Milholland, 5757 East Inlow Springs Road, Muncie, 47302. We did know that property, when we bought that property, that it was zoned for farming. We did know that. But we also, when we closed on that property, it was classified as commercial slash industrial use. And that's what we pay taxes, and that's what's on our property card. And we still pay. We've paid commercial taxes on that property since we've purchased that property in 24. So we just assumed that we could continue to do that since we were paying commercial taxes. We were not aware that we needed to actually ask for this variance until Tom called us in a few months ago. And that's when we started this process, or we would have done that already. I don't even remember half of the questions that were asked.
So some of the concerns have been addressed. Noise.
They're acting like we have live music every day or every weekend, and that's not the case at all. We plan on moving to that property. We are building a barn. We are remodeling a house. We are building a house. You can see our young family. We do not want live music or music blaring every weekend. We don't want it 2 weekends out of the month. Like I said earlier, we have had 3 events where we had live music. No, 2. The 4th of July and a private event where they had a band and we know that there's not a noise ordinance out in where we are located. There is not a noise ordinance, but we do make sure that the music is done by 10 o'clock. So we are trying to be understanding. We know that maybe 10 o'clock on the weekend it's the weekend. And we stop the music at 10 o'clock. There's not a noise ordinance out there. We're not trying to be disrespectful. We didn't know half of the concerns that they've not brought it to our attention. This gentleman right here, he said that he did come to our property. He did come to our property, and it was 7:30. It was 7:30 on a weekend. Yes, we were playing music. I'm sorry that it was loud. I'm sorry that it got to you. We can try to figure something out where the decimals are, I'm not a music expert. I can try to figure something out where it's not. Heather just said that there's something that we can do so the decimals aren't traveling so far. But I do know that at the 4th of July event, I was inside the lodge. The stage is probably from here to the end of that wall, and I could not even hear the music inside. I know that music and sound travels outside. I was inside a building to that wall, and I could not hear the music. So maybe it was traveling, and we can try to look into making sure those decimals are, is that what it's called? Decibels? Don't travel. We don't want to be a nuisance. We're trying to do a good thing. We're not trying to make them mad. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to do the right thing. I don't know. Any other concerns that I need to address?
I think there were some questions or just concerns that were brought up about you guys changing the land or developing it in a certain way. Could you share maybe like what your plans are in terms of development of the site beyond what has been done?
I can share. We other than the remodel of the house and the pole barn for us to be able to move to that property, there's no intention of ever adding any more facilities out there. We're operating off what was already there with with the Boy Scout campground. When we inherited the property, the grass was up to mid-thigh, and all the roofs leaked, pipes were bursted in every building, and we've done nothing but put money into it and made it nice, at least as nice as we could.
We did update a stage. We put in like an amphitheater area. They had a stage of reason. It was called the Stage of Reason, and it was like a wood box, had 4 sides, and it was filled with sand. It didn't even have a top. And we did take that out when we put in a stage, and that's where we have the weddings. The White River is in the background, so we did put that in. You can see a picture of that in the business plan. But other than that, we've not added any buildings. There are where the Boy Scout had the old gun range. We have talked about 5 to 10 years turning those like into cabins once we ask for that special use variance for camping again, because we know that we're not allowed to do the camping at this time. So we have stopped doing that. But we have talked down the road to try to get that special use variance so we can allow camping there again, because we still do have Boy Scouts that call us and want to use that property. And we give them a reduced rate to use that property. And we have talked about using and turning that gun range into little cabins. But other than that, we don't have any plans of building anything else other than what's for our personal use.
I think you've addressed all the things I wrote down, so I don't have any more questions. If anyone else from the board wants to go.
The ID classification that's been mentioned as being commercial is a category that the assessor's office places on the property for tax purposes. So that is different than the zoning of the property, just to clarify. So yes, it has been taxed as commercial and is currently.
Any other questions of the applicants?
I have a question. So if I understand you right, you're willing to try to work toward coexistence with the surrounding neighbors, regardless of what that looks like, maybe timing restraints, maybe if people come in and they leave once, they're not able to come back and forth into your venue, so they're in once, and if they go out, they're out for the rest of the night. Things of that nature. I don't know what will satisfy the residents, but are you willing to try to work toward coexistence? Regardless of what those stipulations may be?
To be completely honest, the 4th of July is our main event that we have that's awfully noisy. I am looking for a wedding venue. If you don't want me to do something free for the community that costs me a lot of money, I don't have to do it. I like to do it. I like to see the kids run around. I like to see them smile. I like to see them having fun. And that's what it's about to me. It doesn't matter what it costs. It's about seeing people get together other than just being hateful towards each other. I want it to be fun. I want everyone come out. Like we said before, we have security. We had police officers at the end of the road that was directing traffic so you get the crowds moving and out. It was very quickly done. We had 6 undercover police officers that were serving during our events.
But yes, we are willing to try to work with the stipulations to try to make everybody happy. I mean, our main focus is weddings. We do the 4th of July to try to get people, we use that as our advertising. So we do this free event because a lot of people don't know about our property, about the landing at Red Wing. We do the 4th of July, which is our big event, which we did have fireworks. We do offer a firework package in our wedding packages. We sold one of those. So we let fireworks off on the 4th of July. We sold one other firework package, which was in May, and then we had a gender reveal fireworks. So we let fireworks off 3 times this year. 3 times.
As I'm reading this, it said that you would like to purchase a liquor license in 2026.
We did talk about trying to obtain a liquor license. That way, when we have weddings, they're not hiring out from like the Mouse and bringing in somebody else to serve liquor. That they are buying that from us so we can try to earn money.
We also, to kind of put that
into more of a height. We have a commercial kitchen that is on the property that is not certified yet. We are in the means of getting it certified so that we can do our own catering and serve our own alcohol for weddings.
Yeah, and we are working with the health department to try to get that kitchen certified so we can do the catering and the alcohol so we can charge more for the weddings. The weddings are what make us money. That's what we're trying to sell is the money or the weddings are our main focus.
Any other question of the applicants? I think you can have a seat then.
Thank you.
Excuse me, may I have one comment made?
No, so, all public comment, that
That 3
period
minutes.
has come and gone,
I
so.
got there 3 minutes and then some, and I
Well-
didn't get to add. I just wanted to clarify something. It was not 7:30 when we went over there.
Okay, that's
All right,
fine.
yeah.
That's fine.
I don't go to bed at 7:30.
Okay, that's fine, sir. Okay. So I guess the chair would entertain a motion or on how, with regard to this request,
Okay.
or
Since
discussion on it. I guess procedurally, we should have a motion in a second, and then that would give us an opportunity to have discussion further.
Correct.
I'm going to make a motion to approve BZA 39-25 with the hardship stated therein and the condition that the business gets any and all necessary permits, that they obtain them in order to conduct business activities on the property, and that this variance request be for the applicants only and would not transfer when or if the property is sold.
Okay, so you can do a continuance.
That's my
Do
motion.
we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Could you repeat the motion, please?
Yeah, the motion is to approve it with the conditions that they get all the necessary permits to operate their business legally, and that this variance will only be for them owning the property. So if they sell the property, it cannot operate as a business. It will only be for these specific individuals.
I'd second that.
Now we can have some discussion with regard to this request.
There seem to be some chatterings over here about other conditions being placed on the applicant. So if somebody else wanted to make a different motion, they would make that now. Is that correct?
So there is a motion on the floor at this time. So either a vote has to be taken on that, or you need to withdraw your motion for someone else to make a different motion.
Okay, and that's why this is an open for discussion. If you're gonna want to address some of these other things, this is your opportunity to address those things. I guess another option is, and I don't know if someone in the audience did point out, then that's another option. The applicant would have an opportunity to, I guess, they could ask for a continuance. I know in the past, this board has allowed matters to be continued to a next meeting where an applicant, typically they would deal with neighborhood associations, so this might be something quasi-similar, where the parties can potentially meet and try to work out something be more favorable and something everybody agrees to. That's a potential option. Or you could take a vote on what's being what is on the floor now, which is to approve with the 2 conditions set out.
I'd like to add a condition, an additional condition of music ceasing at 10 p.m. or before.
Okay, so I think Delaney would have the option of withdrawing her motion.
Right, correct.
Sure, could I confirm, it looks like Christy is, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, it really is very bothering to me that that the plan is to have the beer garden and the other things, but I don't suppose we can really regulate that sort of thing.
I guess can we put a condition on?
So the request is only for specifically what they asked for, in their application as being the proposed use.
And the vision or the business plan may be that a plan, a vision, future options, but it is not something that
It does state that they've already purchased the sound systems, and that, I mean, it really pretty much says what they're going for, right? So it looks to me like they're really trying, the focus is going to be on other things besides just the wedding, and they have a right to have a business, so we really can't stipulate.
So this is what they put in their application, which is what they would be limited to for their business use. 10 weddings per year, 30 to 50 banquet hall rentals per year, 50 overnight stays, up to 5 annual signature events, 1 to 2 music festivals, and 5 promoter events. As to alcohol, it says the Landing at Red Wing would like to purchase a liquor license in 2026 for weddings and events. The Landing at Red Wing will hire licensed servers or pouring company for all events. So yeah, so that is what they put in their answer to number 8 on the application. What are they requesting? So that is what their business use is limited to. And also that section includes hours, which are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., quiet times, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
So Delaney's proposal would cover Richard's concerns of the 9 to 10 and 9 to 9.
Correct, yeah. What they've currently put is that on weeknights, Monday through Friday, it will end at 9 p.m. and Saturday at 10 p.m. That is what they put in their application. So that is what they would be held to.
We have no idea.
I would say any live music.
Yep. Yep.
And obviously, if the board wants to make changes to that particular section that's what they put in their request, obviously the board can do that.
Right.
The way Delaney made her motion currently, it is as listed in that. And that's their official answer to question number 8 on the application, which is different than what's in the business plan. The official answer for number 8 is what they submitted under a notary signature saying was what they wanted to do with the property. So that's what they would be bound by if this board approves it.
So that's the only thing before us tonight.
And it also says, also see included business plan. Again, we have a motion and a second with the 2 conditions. And as it is now, with the motion, it would allow them to perform all of those activities that have been addressed. So the board has a couple of motion or options to take a vote on the pending motion, to withdraw the motion, have another motion. That's the options available.
I'm prepared to vote on the motion I made, so
Okay.
unless if the board has any other comments, but otherwise I would be prepared to vote.
Okay. I think we're ready to vote, is that correct?
I think so.
And that would be on the motion that's been made. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fritsch,
Yes.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
No.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Recuse myself.
Okay, so that is 4 yeses, 1 no, so that is official action of approval of BZA 39-25 with the conditions outlined in the motion. Our office will provide you with certification of that approval so you can proceed with any permitting and or licensing from here on out. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, as you leave, if you can be quiet, we are having other business that we have to attend to. Thank you. No, but some of those we're gonna, 4 of them, we're gonna have hyper speed. So whenever you're ready.
BZA 40-25 jurisdiction, Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public
Oh,
hearing.
hold on a minute, maybe.
Sorry.
As a reminder to the board, everything that you are talking about on the microphone is being picked up and is being heard. So if you don't want everybody to hear that, it would probably be best to refrain from that or turn your microphone off. So
Would the stenographer retract?
And our legal counsel has said during the meetings, the board members are not supposed to have side conversations.
Okay, sorry about that. So
Okay, we are now on BZA 40-25, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Chad Dwayne Jones, 4612 South Hoyt Avenue, Muncie, Indiana, requesting a variance of use from the terms of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a tattoo business to operate in an existing accessory structure in a residence zone on premises located at 4612 South Hoyt Avenue, Center Township, Delaware County, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Give us your name and address.
My name is Chad Jones, and my address is 4612 South Hoyt Avenue.
So can you tell us what you're wanting to do with your property there?
Yeah, I have a small building that I'm wanting to get a commercial variance in so I can operate a small tattoo studio that's quiet, quaint, and drama-free, out of the norm, just to be able to operate legally and by the codes with the health department and everything.
So can you tell us like what your business hours are?
Yeah, typically it's noon to 7 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday, closed Monday and Tuesdays. I generally try to operate by appointment only. There's not going to be like a heavy amount of traffic or anything like that other than what's the ordinary on the Hoyt Avenue. It's just a little bit, reserved and kind of off the well-beaten path.
So are you the only individual that's going to be performing and doing the work?
No, I do have one other person that would possibly be there by appointment only as well, that I've worked with in the past for over 3 years, and he's kind of on the same path and mission that I am on.
And it's my understanding you're not planning to have a sign advertising your business?
I was going to apply for that in the future if possible, if needed, but as of right now, no.
Could you repeat you said 12 to 7 p.m. what days?
Wednesday through Sunday.
Thank you.
This might be the time where you,
Okay.
and I guess maybe, also, and I'll ask a question and that might lead to some information from Kylene on behalf of, of their office. So as a tattoo artist, are there certain rules and regulations and permits that you have to obtain in order to perform your job?
Yes, you do have to be certified by the Delaware County Board of Health.
And are you, or is it based upon us agreeing to do that before you're able to apply, or have you applied?
I've been permitted in Delaware County for almost 20 years. This establishment itself is not permitted, but to obtain that, I would have to have the variance for that location, yes.
Okay. For the board's information, Mr. Jones is currently working with the County Building Commissioner, Tom Fouch. Tom Fouch and Jeremy Pettigrew from the Health Department were out at the site and have started processes with him that need to be completed. So he's currently working with Building Commissioner, currently working with the Health Department. We do have a couple of emails here that were at your place settings tonight that were not in your packets. We have an email from Neil Patterson, lead pastor of Muncie Southside Church of the Nazarene, in support. We have an email from Allison Wood in support. And we have an email provided to you from Jeremy Pettigrew stating that if Mr. Jones is granted the variance, he will need to complete the Delaware County Health Department's plan review process. Mr. Jones appears to be well on his way of doing so. Mr. Jones will need to apply for the correct building permits from the Delaware County Building Commissioner's office. Mr. Jones will need to pass all building inspections. He will need to get fire inspections as well as pass that inspection in order to complete the Health Department review. We also have just some information that Kayla Ferguson from our office put together after a phone call with Mr. Jones, talking about the hours and so forth as well.
Does anybody else have any other questions of the applicant? Okay, hearing none, you may have a seat there, sir. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of BZA 40-25?
Good evening again. Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner in District 1. Mr. Jones, this property is in my district. I've heard no complaints. I think Mr. Jones noted that he's performed this type of work in Delaware County for 2 decades and has proven to be trustworthy. And I would hope that you would approve his variance request.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of this?
Yes, my name is Ernest Maxwell. I live at 4608 South Hoyt, right next to Mr. Jones. I've lived there since 2009. He's lived there about the last 5 years after purchasing the house from his aunt. In all the years since he's been there, he's been an exemplary neighbor. We've helped each other out with many different things. I came home from work one day and he was in my kitchen stirring the spaghetti because his wife didn't take the car seat with her. So he couldn't take his son to go because her car was broke down. So my wife did, but she had dinner started. So I come home and he's standing in my kitchen. I'm going, what's going on? So yeah, it was really good. This is a good cook. But we've talked about this when he first started talking about it doing, and my wife and I, we have no problem with anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in support of this request? Okay, seeing none. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 40-25? Okay, seeing none, then the chair would entertain a motion as to the request.
Could I just clarify? So the current variance that we are approving does not include a business sign or signage, and that is not part of this application. Correct. Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve BZA 40-25 with the hardships stated therein, with the understanding that the applicant will obtain all necessary permits, and that the business be used for the applicant only and not transfer with the property.
I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fritsch,
Yes.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
Okay, so that is 6 yeses, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 40-25. We will provide you with certification of that so you can continue with your permitting and inspection processes. Thank you.
Thank you.
BZA 41-25 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Candace King, 8304 East DeSoto Street, Muncie, Indiana, requesting a variance from the terms of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a replacement mobile home to be on pier supports rather than a permanent foundation on premises located at 8304 East DeSoto Street, Delaware Township, Delaware County, as Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Yes, can you give us your name and address, please?
Candace King, 8304 East DeSoto Street, Muncie.
So can you tell us what you're wanting to do on your property?
I'm requesting to be able to remove the existing mobile home on my property and replace it with a brand new mobile home on a pier system because a foundation would not be financially able for me to put it on there.
It's my understanding you're not changing the placement of where it's located, just changing, instead of it being on a foundation, to use the pier system. Is that correct?
That is correct. The existing mobile home is on a pier system as well, and I would just be replacing it with a larger, but it would still be in place though, yes.
Okay, sure. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions of the applicant? Okay, you may have a seat there, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 41-25?
Hi, Franz Milner, 8301 East DeSoto Street. Live right across the street from her for about 6 years, and we've never had any problems. I don't think this is gonna affect anybody. She should be able to do what she wants to do. That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 41-25? Okay, seeing none, anybody wish to speak in opposition to BZA 41-25? Also seeing none, I'll turn it over to Kylene.
Okay, so not in your packet, at your places tonight were documentation of a phone call that was received from Franz Milner, excuse me, in support. And also the County Building Commissioner, Tom Fouch, has reviewed this request. He does support this with no safety concerns.
Then the chair would entertain a motion as to the request then.
I would make a motion to approve BZA 41-25 with the hardships stated therein.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mr. Billington?
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch?
Yes.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson?
Yes.
6 yeses, so that is the official action of the board of approval of BZA 41-25. Our office will provide you with certification outlining that approval, which will allow you to proceed in your permitting processes.
Thank you.
The certification, we normally start typing those up tomorrow morning, the next morning. Yes, we can notify you when it's ready if you'd like us to. Okay.
Thank you.
BZA 42-25, Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Michael Gregory, 1224 East 22nd Street, Muncie, Indiana, requesting a variance from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow an increased height for a new pole barn for personal storage on premises located at 1224 East 22nd Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application.
If you can give us your name and address there, sir.
Michael Gregory, 1224 East 22nd Street. And just want a variance so I can build a pole barn to keep my camper and some trailers and stuff in the pole barn so we don't have to leave them outside.
And I think you're asking that it be taller than what the ordinance is, and that's according to your application because you have an RV and you're wanting to store your RV there. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So I think they said the height was 17 foot maybe. I'd like to have 16-foot sidewalls so I can have 14-foot doors because some campers can be like 13.5 foot. So I just want to make sure that we can keep them inside. That way, you know, the weather doesn't affect it and hurt it that way.
Okay. And I think you already kind of touched upon it, but for clarification purposes, this is just for your own use. You don't operate a business out of it or plan to.
No business or anything like that. We have a lot of people wandering through the neighborhood, and I don't want them messing with my stuff. Where we're at, we get people that cuts through the yard. We've had people drive cars through our yard and everything else. So I'm just trying to keep it safe inside where nothing happens.
Okay.
So.
Does anybody else have any questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none, you may have a seat there, sir.
Thank
you. And anybody wishing to speak in favor of BZA 42-25?
Good evening again. Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner, District 1. This is also in my district. I've heard no complaints, and I would hope that you would grant the variance this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 42-25?
Good evening again. Dan Ridenauer, Mayor of Muncie, 310 North High Street. I would also encourage support for this ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor? Okay. Seeing none, anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 42-25? Okay, seeing none, the chair would then entertain a motion with regard to the request. I'm sorry, there is some additional information that has been provided this evening with regard to this matter.
So yeah, I just passed down the sketch drawing that Mr. Gregory presented to us this evening.
Okay, now I would entertain a motion with regard to the request.
I'd make a motion to approve BZA 42-25 with the hardship stated therein, with the condition that the barn be used for personal storage only and not for business use.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mr. Billington?
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch?
Yes.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson?
Yes.
6 yeses, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 42-25. Our office will provide you the certification outlining that approval, which will then allow you to proceed with your applications for permits.
Okay, before we have Kylene read, BZA 43-25, we have, 43, 44, 45, and 46, all with the same applicant and all for the same type of request, for, change in setbacks due to, building versus where their plans were. One option this board would have would be to allow the applicant and public comment be, for all four, properties at the same time. And then when it comes to voting purposes, due to the fact that there are different setback, measurements, that they're seeking, that we would address a vote on each one separately. So I guess if anybody wishes to combine these four items for discussion purposes, we would just need somebody or a motion to be made to do that.
I would make a motion that we combine the four applications together for discussion's sake.
We have a motion. How about a second?
I would second that.
So I think we can do that by voice votes. Is that correct? Or should we do this by roll call?
I would do this by roll call because you're technically suspending the rules.
Okay.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Abstain.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
Okay, so that is 5 yeses, so that is approval to hear these together. Mr. Wisely, do I need to still read all the descriptions? Okay. BZA 43-25 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Muncie City View Homes, LLC, 9100 Center Point Drive, Suite 210, Westchester, Ohio, requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow reduced front setback and side street setback for an existing 4-unit residential structure on premises at 1118, 1120, 1122, and 1124 South Elm Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application. BZA 44-45 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Muncie City View Homes 2, LLC, 9100 Center Point Drive, Suite 210, Westchester, Ohio, requesting a variance from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a reduced front setback for a house on premises at 1624 South Elm Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application. BZA 45-25 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Muncie City View Homes 2 LLC, 9100 Center Point Drive, Suite 210, Westchester, Ohio, requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a reduced front setback and a reduced side street setback for an existing house on premises at 1201 South High Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application. BZA 46-25 Jurisdiction Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Muncie City View Homes 2 LLC, 9100 Center Point Drive, Suite 210, Westchester, Ohio, requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a reduced front setback and a reduced side street setback for an existing 3-unit residential structure on premises located at 1200, 1202, and 1204 South Elm Street, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application.
Good evening. My name is Damian Brano with Pivotal Housing Partners. Address is 9100 Center Point Drive, Westchester, Ohio. We are humbly asking for the approval of the reduced setback on the front and the side on 3 of the properties, and only the front on 1 of the properties.
And I think it's my understanding from the application, it was due to, maybe staking out the, property by the contractor, and it was built different than what it was originally planned to be. Is that my understanding on these matters?
Correct.
Okay. So I guess my question is, you're probably not wanting to move all of these buildings and would just rather ask to grant your.
We would rather not, but, you know.
Yes. Does anybody, have any questions of this applicant? Okay. Seeing none, I believe that you, can have a seat there, sir.
Thank you.
So anybody have, like to speak in favor of these 4 requests?
Dan Ridenhour, Mayor of Muncie, 300 North High Street. Yeah, we are definitely in favor of this. We appreciate what Pivotal has done. This was 2 different developments, because if you know notice one was Muncie City View, the other was City View 2. And they provide good, affordable housing for our residents, and really don't want to have to move those residents a couple feet off of where they are. So would hope that this board will give a favorable recommendation.
Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner, District 1. This is also in my district, and I've had no one speak in opposition against it, so I would hope that you would approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of these requests?
My name's Thomas Ware. I live at 1720 South Elm Street, right next to that property on Elm. And I wanted to know what the setback was for. Whether they're going to take some space out or close the alley or what they're going to do.
So, and I'll let the applicant come
Okay.
back up. Do you have, sir, do you, and I guess, do you have any objection, and you may not be able to answer? Okay, sure, okay. And I guess if you can give us your name, again, sir.
Damian Brown, Pivotal Housing Partners, 9100 Centerpoint Drive, Westchester, Ohio. Which street were you on? Okay. So the front, I believe it was 25 feet, and the side may have been 20, and they've gotten into that. So they're not a full, right, they're not a full 20 on the side or 25 from the front. So no, we're not going to close the alley. Yes, that's going to remain open.
Okay, okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to speak in support of these, matters? Okay. Seeing none, anybody wishing to speak in opposition to these 4 matters? Okay. Seeing none, I guess we will, start with BZA 43-25. The chair would entertain a motion with regard to the requested.
Motion to approve requested variance to allow reduced setbacks on side street and existing 4 residential structures properly known as 1118, 1120, 1122, and 1124 on South Elm Street, Muncie.
I'll second that.
One thing that I would like to add that was in the staff report, because these 4 were already approved, you're going to want to include the conditions from the previous approval for each one of these so that they continue in effect. So for this first one, it's the conditions from 1421.
Also noted in the motions,
Yeah, so we would just make a
approval to be
condition
with
that,
stated provisions, understanding conditions, previous variance BZA 1421 shall remain in effect.
And I'll second that addition.
We have a motion and a second with regard to that matter. Roll call, please.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Abstain.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
5 yeses, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 43-25.
We'll move on now to 44-25. The chair would entertain a motion with regard to that request.
I will make a motion that we accept the changes in the setback with the understanding that that they will also remain. Do we need to do that with these as well?
This one, the previous approval is BZA 16-21 for this one.
Right, shall remain in effect for BZA 44-25.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fritsch,
Abstain.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
5 yeses, so that's official action of the board of approval of BZA 44-25.
Then on to BZA 45-25. Would entertain a motion with regard to that request.
I make a motion to approve BZA 45-25 with the setbacks. And what was the existing zoning?
BZA 16-21 is the prior variance.
Yeah, to include that. 16.
-21.
Yep. Okay, yep. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Abstain.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
5 yeses. So that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 45-25.
And the last in this set of matters would be BZA 46-25, and I would entertain a motion with regard to this request.
I will move that we accept BZA 46-25, the as presented,
Here.
with the understanding that we'll have the conditions of the previous variance. BZA 14-21 will remain in effect.
15.
Actually, this one's 15-21.
Did I say that wrong?
Yeah, you said 14.
Oh,
Yep, you're fine.
okay.
Yep. Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Abstain.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
5 yeses, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 46-25. All of those approvals do reference the previous BZA certifications. We will provide you with certifications of the new approvals and get those to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
BZA 47-25, Jurisdiction, Board of Zoning Appeals. Being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Bryce and Christina Craig, 601 South Sycamore Street, Gaston, Indiana, requesting variances from the terms of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow reduced north side and south side setbacks for a barn, replacing one that was damaged by storm on premises at 601 South Sycamore Street, Harrison Township, Delaware County, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application.
Hi, I'm Bryce Craig of 601 South Sycamore Street in Gaston, Indiana. Just wanting to replace a building that was damaged in April. To build something of a useful size, I'm slightly larger than I was before, and that makes me close to the property lines to the south and to my own property to the north that's governed by the town of Gaston.
And is the building just going to be used for you and you
I just want to
personally?
park my truck in it.
Okay.
Please.
Have you spoke with any neighbors and gotten any feedback?
I spoke with the gentleman who owns the farm field this would actually be closest to, because it could actually mess with him, and he was fine with it. He actually told me he was happy we wanted to replace it, so.
Any other questions of the applicant? You may have a seat then, sir. Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 4725?
Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner. This is not in my district, but I was out there the day after that wind event and saw the damage, and I would be speak in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 47-25? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to BZA 47-25? Seeing none, then the chair would entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes, sorry.
So I just wanted to provide the board with the information that this is a unique situation based on the jurisdictional lines. His house is within the town of Gaston limits, and the barn is on a parcel that is Delaware County jurisdiction. The only reason he is having to seek this is that the barn he's wishing to replace is not going to sit on the exact same footprint. So Building Commissioner Tom Fouch completely supports this, has no problems with it, and this is the exact situation that defines a hardship.
Are we now okay for me to make a motion?
Yes, we can take
I
a
would like to
motion.
make a motion
Yep.
to approve BZA 47-25 with the hardships stated therein.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fritsch?
Yes.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mr. Billington?
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson?
Yes.
Back up to 6. 6 yeses. So that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 47-25. We will provide you with that certification, which will then allow you to apply for your permits.
Could you notify me when that's ready, please?
We sure can. Thank you.
The last one.
Last case, everyone, BZA 48-25, Jurisdiction, Board of Zoning Appeals, being a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Pegasus Futures 2, LLC in McDonald's Restaurant, 110 North Carpenter Street, Chicago, Illinois,
requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow an increased front setback build-to line on Macedonia Avenue and 29th Street, and for the drive-through lane to be between the building and Macedonia Avenue and 29th Street, all for a new McDonald's restaurant on premises on the southeast corner of Macedonia Avenue and 29th Street, and on the west side of Chandler Drive, Muncie, as more accurately described in the application.
Good evening. My name is Lindsay Jordan. My address is P.O. Box 373, Alexandria, Ohio, 43001. I will try to keep this quick because I think I'm the last thing before the door, the pillow, or dinner tonight. So,
I
with
can
that
comment
said-
that had McDonald's products been provided, our board would have been a lot more happier at this
No,
time.
I
For the
think I had
record.
a Chick-fil-A cup walking in here, but we'll keep that under wraps. So with that said, we are so excited to bring a McDonald's to the southeast side of Muncie. As you all probably know, there isn't one over there yet. So with that, being able to do that, we are seeking 3 variances tonight. One for the front setback along 29th Street, another along Macedonia Avenue, and then the last one would be to allow the drive-through between the road and the building. Along with that, in conversations with NDOT, we have decided to change the site plan a little bit. And that came through about a week ago, but I believe the city engineer wasn't available to speak on that. We did provide an updated site plan via email, and I have hard copies here tonight if anyone would like to have a hard copy as well. With that change, that does take one access away, so full access off of Chandler will remain. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on the variances tonight.
You said the city engineer has looked at the new plans that you're presenting to us.
I believe the city engineer has not seen them yet.
Okay.
The NDOT engineer was the one providing the information on that access point. And mainly because of the distance between the intersection and where we were proposing that access point, and we decided to just close it off. There is full access off of Chandler, though.
So I will comment that our office reached out to city engineer as well, and he is out of the office. The variances that are before you tonight is the build-to line and the drive-through. Any future ingress-egress routes would have to be approved by the city engineer as they move forward with their development. Perfect, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions of the applicant? Okay. Seeing none, I think you can have a seat there, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Anybody wishing to speak in favor of BZA 48-25?
Dan Ridenhour, Mayor of Muncie, and this is in Stephen Brand's district. But no, this was brought to us at some time ago. When I say us, I'm speaking on conversations I've had with the city engineer, who happens to be on vacation. He was on vacation part of last week and all this week, so that's been the challenge. But he was the one who recommended the change from what was originally shown to us, and said he would work with the state, which obviously you've already talked with. So we are extremely excited about this development for the south side and what it means for that shopping center and that area. So I'm hopeful that you'll go with a favorable recommendation.
Stephen Brand, Delaware County Commissioner, District 1. As the mayor stated, this is in my district. I don't know who gets 2 weeks vacation, but that's a 1.5 weeks. That's a lot of time. No one's approached me and spoke against this, and I hope you guys would find a favorable recommendation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Hines, 2706 South Tacoma Avenue, Muncie, Indiana.
I think you guys should pass this because I was born and raised on the south side of Muncie. And I think it's a tragedy that we've always had to go to the north side of Muncie to get a McDonald's. And I say that as the person who brought in the Chick-fil-A cup.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of BZA 48-25? Seeing none, anybody wish to speak in opposition to BZA 48-25? Also seeing none, the chair would then entertain a motion on the request.
I'd make a motion to approve BZA 48-25 with the hardships stated therein.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ivy,
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Billington,
Yes.
Ms. Fritsch,
Yes.
Ms. Mathewson.
Yes.
6 yeses, so that is official action of the board of approval of BZA 48-25. We will provide you with certification of that approval so you can proceed with your development and permitting processes.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Then I see report from director.
So tonight is the first night I did not provide you guys with a director's report because I knew you would be ready to go. So you're welcome.
Can we get the gavel?
Yep, the motion to adjourn then. Okay, we are done then. Thank you, folks.
The restroom's cold.
On.
Restroom again.
Richard's on.
All right.